So what I have here is a little Scotch-Brite wheel hooked up to to my air compressor, and you can put this on a drill or any number of other rotary tools. Scotch-Brite really useful when it comes to polishing metal, especially if you don't have a large grinder or polishing wheel with compounds. This would do to polish out your metal. Final stages, because these come in very low grit. This one's like a 300, so it's going to be significantly less gritty than our sandpaper, and should take and polish this quite a bit for us. It's probably going to get loud, so I'm not going to try and mince words. I probably won't videotape the whole thing because nobody wants to sit and watch me do this for an hour. Or if they do, they're more patient than I am. So welcome back. What we're doing today is we're walking into the final stages of polishing the zombie apocalypse sword. We used sandpaper, took it out to 180 grit. And then we ran it with a Scotch-Brite wheel, which cleaned it up a little bit further. And now hitting it with the 400 grit wet dry sandpaper. Just get a little bit of water on it, and as you'll see from some of the still pictures I'll be showing you, when you hit it with this, you come to a mirror polish pretty quick, especially if you took your time with the earlier stages. Now the sandpaper very often has small amounts of material coming off of it, and you can work that with your finger to polish localized areas. Your fingers actually, with that little bit of sand material, is good enough to actually do it. But and that will be the extreme final stages. But for now, we're just working the blade, and we're taking it up to the next level of polish. By the time we're done with this 400 grit, because we're doing it with hand, this is going to take a lot longer than running it through a belt sander. But because we're doing it by hand, we're going to be very nearly a mirror polish when we do this. And you're going to have to put some elbow grease into it. It could take some hours. You could go with the belt sander, and you'll still get there, but you're going to need to walk it all the way through 800 grit. You're going to have to go keep staging up, taking on different grits until you're about an 800 grit if you want to mirror polish out of a belt sander. It just takes that long. And you have to make sure you get out all those unusual colorations that I was talking about before. Any little dips that you miss, I can see a few little nicks in here that I didn't quite sound out evenly in the last stage. They're haunting me now, and it's going to take some elbow grease to get rid of those, especially if you want to get it up to a true mirror polish. And now a mirror polish may not be your interest, and if you're fighting the zombie apocalypse today, you wouldn't go that far. But if you want your sword to truly be able to cut through anything with the minimum amount of resistance, you need to get the blade polished out. You limit the amount of drag the blade experiences when it's cutting, especially when it's cutting through something. So the further you take this polishing process, the better for you, the better for your blade. And this is really coming out nice. I expect we'll be able to see our reflection in this here pretty soon. I mean, it's, yeah, I can see my features when I look into the blade. I can make out my nose clearly and my eyes in the areas where I'm getting to a mirror polish, and that's our goal. So what I'm trying to do for you now is help you to catch the luster of the blade, because it is very nearly a mirror polish, and we achieve that with a 400 grit sandpaper. You run this through a buffing wheel and you're going to see an incredible luster out of this blade. It's not perfect yet, but it's better than 90% of the blades I've seen out there that are homemade or even over-the-counter cheap blades that are nothing more than chromium knockoffs that are going to break the first time you hit anything, or have the tangs drilled so that they do break intentionally the first time they hit something hard. This is a really excellent polish, and we've done this with a $6 piece of steel, and we've turned it into a functional blade, and we'll prove that once we've finished doing all the polishing and take it out, cut up some watermelons and some bamboo and other things, so you can see just how effective a homemade blade can become. See how it's catching the light and reflecting the surfaces around it. You can actually see the grill, the safety grill over the work light in the blade. That's what those lines are when I'm moving it. So this blade's looking very, very good. As opposed, the side we haven't done the work on, you can see the texture. We still need to work this side. This side has only been worked to the Scotch-Brite. You can actually see the rough texture. We're going to sand all that out, polish it out with the wet dry 400 grit sandpaper on just a plain old everyday block of wood. That's all it takes. Thanks for watching. So I'm still polishing it out. Like I told you, it's gonna be a process. Realistically, it's gonna be about 2 hours of working the 400 grit sandpaper and to get this out to a mirror polish. The better the polish, the less drag on the cut. This will make the blade more effective. There's a lot of reasons we went for a 24-inch blade. 24-inch blade is the standard length blade for fighting, SCA heavy fighting. And so anybody who's ever done any SCA heavy fighting, war fighting, is already familiar with this blade length, and so they're going to be a lot more effective than with another length blade. The other thing is a light, quick blade, and it's going to give you a lot of advantages because of its speed, especially if you've trained in any of the cold steel or SCA style fightings, because this blade is going to be significantly lighter than the blades you train with, and when you step back it really increases your ability to strike quickly and to stay in the fight longer. Your arm's not going to tire out. Stick with what you know. You could go to a longer blade, but longer blades take more time to deliver the point and you need more room. My experience, at some point, most brawls, most fights, most situations evolve into a brawl. And a 24-inch blade can operate at extremely close quarters. You can effectively wield it within a 6-inch area if you have any experience or training. There's no reason why this blade couldn't fit all your rolls. And if you need some reach, the fact that we made it two-handed, it's not too heavy. You can choke way down on it and extend your reach by another 12 inches. Go one-handed with it if you want to have a reach. But our intent is the spear is going to be our reaching weapon. This is going to be our close quarter weapon. Someone else engaging you at close quarters with a knife, or zombie bite, or zombie claw, bone claw. You want to be able to effectively react. And this blade will be light enough, quick enough to react to multiple assailants in close order and to defend yourself. Shouldn't have any problem taking off a zombie's head with this. Again, we're going to demonstrate that with melons and bamboo. put up like a cutting course, and we'll prove our points. And you'll see that these blades, though cheap, total cost under $20, just takes your time and patience, are just as effective as anything you see out there, anything you buy from Cold Steel or China or Japan. And the more time and care you put into it, the more effective the blade will be. So, as you can see, we're starting to get to the point where we've got a really good mirror polish. I showed you the other side, which is already completed in video, and right now we're just doing that fine work to make sure that the blade has no drag. And you really, you can do the whole job with sandpaper. You don't need to have a knife sharpener. A lot of people obsess about their knife sharpeners. Honestly, a real fine sandpaper with a block is just as good. And I bet I can take it to a much sharper edge using sandpaper than most people can with a stone. Further, I can refinish the blade with sandpaper. If it gets dinged up and it's starting to drag and not cut smoothly, I can clean it up with sandpaper. A small peen hammer on a sheet of nice smooth steel. I can reforge just about anything with a propane torch. A little bit of borax if you need to hot weld and add anything to the blade if the blade's been nicked. All of these are pretty easy things to do.